Welcome back, y'all, and happy Saturday. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and we're your host, Bull and P. We're going to be just giving our news, notes, and thoughts from day 7 of spring practice. We're also going to briefly kind of talk about, give you our opening thoughts for the Houston game coming up tomorrow at 2. So please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel first and foremost. But let me go ahead and pull this up for y'all real quick. All right, so and let me get you in here, P. All right, there we go. So these are the overall team stats for Tennessee versus Houston. P, did you get to watch any of the Houston game last night? I know that you've been doing a good job scouting. For those of y'all that don't know, P, he's doing a good job inside of our bracket right now. I think he has a chance to win the whole doggone thing. So I would trust what he says on this. But what do you think about Houston?
Yeah, Houston, man. So honestly, heading into the game last night versus Kentucky, to me, it was all about getting past that game. I felt like once we got past that game, I felt more confident versus Houston than I did versus Kentucky. To me, Houston, I don't know the numbers, as far as like their height and things like that. But I just don't think that they pose too much trouble in terms of their length on the interior, which is really what I think worries me as a team. So I mean, like they're not the biggest team in the world. Now, that being said, they are very athletic and they play aggressive, like they play hard, almost kind of how I imagine I'll play basketball. Like I look at number 11 for those guys, Tugler, I think is his name. I mean, like he's very athletic. He's very aggressive. He goes up, competes for rebounds, plays good defense. They do a really good job as a unit defensively, kind of just passing things off. If they want to pass things off, like they might. If a guy comes open off of a pick and roll, whatever, another guy does a good job of kind of going and taking that guy. Like they just do a good job of almost like I like to call it, like almost like a hybrid man type, where it's man, but they can switch off. Like they do a good job. They do a really good job defensively. I think that's the biggest issue that they pose, their defense. Offensively, they don't really worry me too much offensively. I think number 21, he has the ability to get hot from three. And as well as number 4, the point guard. It actually, ironically, was number 7, is who the guy was last night. And I think I heard the announcer say they got 3 guys shooting over 40% from 3, which I mean that's phenomenal. But just in my time watching them, 21's really been the main guy that can score for them. Number 4 can get hot as well. And number 7's a guy he likes to really defer, pass it, do things like that. But I mean, they're a team, man. I'm not too worried. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. And ultimately, to me, I think it comes down to who gets the most rebounds. I like seeing the numbers here. We have length over those guys down low in the post, so I like our odds there. But this is going to be a great battle, man. It's a really, really good Houston team that we're playing for sure.
Yeah, I'm not worried about them, like really at all. I mean, they've got some very good athletes, but like you said, Pete, we're so much bigger than them. Their offense has been playing worse. I think like over like the last month. They're like not scoring nearly as many points. They played up against a team last night, and they only scored 60-some points. The defense that they played up against last night is nothing like Tennessee's. It's nothing, not even close to Tennessee's defense. So I'm just not even. I'm honestly. I mean, listen, the guys got to come. They have to be locked in. They have to be focused, of course. But I feel. Like you said, Pete, well, I think that you might have said the opposite, but I feel more confident going into this matchup.
That's what I said.
I feel I feel very confident with this one. And I can see Tennessee winning this one by 20 or 30 points. I mean, like 20 or 30 points. I don't see. There's not much that they can do. They love to shoot threes, but if their threes aren't falling, they're going to have a tough time stopping it. I mean, listen, I think their defense is good, but I think the Tennessee's offense is playing on a totally
and that's why to me this game comes down to rebounds. Whoever wins the rebounds, but also kind of tag that with second chance points. You can get 4 or 5 offensive rebounds, but if you keep missing, it doesn't matter. I think whoever can rebound and score off those rebounds, because I think it's going to be tough sledding on both sides offensively. But whoever can get those rebounds and capitalize on those offensive rebounds, I think that will determine who wins the game.
Okay, well, we're gonna see, man. I'll be back tomorrow with some more like in-depth thoughts and all of that for that game. Just wanted to kind of give you some opening thoughts with that one because obviously that one is big. And our Lady Vols are going to be playing tonight at 7:00 versus Texas. We have our baseball teams playing today at 4:00, I think, versus South Carolina. So let's go ahead and get into the spring practice stuff. First and foremost, these are all the visitors that we had coming up today. At least these are the ones that we heard were going to be up on campus today or at some point this weekend. And in the clips that we watched earlier, P, there was a lot of people out there. So I know that there was this coaching clinic. So there's going to be a whole lot of people from that, from that standpoint. But there was a lot of visitors. One of my guys that I talk a whole lot about is Champ Mons, 2028 quarterback. I saw him over there standing right behind Nico and all the quarterbacks standing right next to Coach Heupel. And Coach Heupel, I think, is like 6'3", and Champ is taller than him. He's a rising sophomore. He is the truth. Okay, I keep on bringing him up because he's going to be a generational sort of a player. He's he's going to be one of those guys that in the 2000 whatever 30 something class, 2031 class, 2032 class, they're going to say as soon as the season's over with, well, we already know Champ Mons is the number one pick. Who's going number two? That's how it's going to be. He's that good, so I'm excited about that. But also, there's several blue chip caliber players that came up. We got Griffin. I think he goes to Gainesville, P. He's a 5-star backer. Really, really good. We always talk about I think that's probably the best player in the entire country. Like, he's up there, 1A, 1B. He's really good, but I think that Griffin is not too far behind him, just as far as a pure linebacker that can do it all. But anyway, there's a whole lot of names here. Is there anything that kind of stands out to you, Pete?
No, just same thing you said, man. I saw Champ Mons standing behind the quarterbacks, throwing some routes on the air, and I mean, I said the same thing. Like, he looks already like he's about 6'4", 6'5". I mean, I don't know what he's listed as, but
I think he's only listed like 6'2", 224.
Yeah, he's
taller
than that.
3.5.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Like the first kind of glimpse we saw of him standing behind Coach, I thought I was like, is that freaking Jameis Winston?
He looks a lot like Jameis Winston.
Like him, but then eventually I could see who it was. And I said, oh man, that's probably Champ Mons, and sure enough, it was. But yeah, he looks the part and looked like he was taking it in. Like, look, he was locked in, he was focused, he liked what he was seeing, and we're just going off what we're seeing from a couple seconds here. But I think that he likes what he sees there, and I mean, I think if Nico comes out here and has a good year, if we can have another good year next season, like, I mean, I don't know what all the experts are saying, the insiders, whatever, but I think Tennessee's in a really good spot with him right now. Just from looking at him out there, he looks like he likes what he sees out there. So love him, man, and love seeing a bunch of guys out there on campus, man. You can see him on the sideline during some of the clips there of practice today, and some good looking athletes, man. So staff's doing a great job. Let's see if we can land a few of these blue chippers for this class.
Yeah, it's about time for us to go ahead and start closing out. But as far as Champ Mons, I don't think anyone really knows where he wants to go. It's so early on in his process. He still has a while to go. He's class of 2028, unless he tries to reclass up, which I think he probably could. Maybe he should, but it's probably better for Tennessee if he does it, because we're going to have Faison coming in 2026. In 2027, that's probably going to be Faison's year. The year after that, Faison's going on to the league. We're talking about, back-to-back first round quarterbacks. Then Champ Mons knows, hey, okay, so I'm going to come in, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to learn, okay, and then next year I'm going to be able to, get out there and ball out. So, yeah, I think that the staff is doing a very good job. So let me get into these injuries here real quick. All right, like I always say, I'm going to say it quicker today, but this is not a big deal, okay? This is spring practice. Do not freak out and seeing the names that are on this list. We know that Miles Kittelman, he's had surgery on his chest. I've heard that he could be back maybe by the start of the season. That would be huge for us. And outside of that, it's just like the usual suspects. Campbell, he's not on this list anymore. He was a full go today at practice. And who else? Is there anything else? Caleb Herring doesn't sound like he dressed out for practice. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't in pads. But they're going to hold these guys out and let them be ready for fall camp, which is where we really need for them to be full go at. You know what I'm saying? But great thing here, P, is that a lot of these underclassmen, they're getting plenty of reps. We're building depth in a way that people never thought was going to be possible. This is, I think, going to be very beneficial for Tennessee. But do you have any thoughts right here, P, just looking at the injuries from today?
You obviously hate to see Kittelman go down, but hopefully he can bounce back from that. And that's I think the same deal Peely was dealing with. So, I know that can be a kind of a lingering, nagging deal there. So hopefully he's ready to go at some point during this season. But him being down, I guess the silver lining, like you said, man, it gives some of those young guys, Brame and Vanderslayer and what's the guy from last year, Cole. Yeah, Cole, those guys. Yeah, it gives those guys more of an opportunity, and they're going to be ready to go. You know what I mean? So I think like you said, it's going to build depth, which depth's always a good thing. It's going to only help us as the season goes on. So You know, you hate to see Kitzman go down like that, especially this is going to be a big year for him. But I guess if there is a silver lining, it's nice to see those young guys get more of an opportunity to actually play on Saturdays for sure.
100%. So we're gonna get into. We're only gonna talk about a couple of the. So we'll listen to Coach E. That's the offensive line coach. We're gonna listen to him speak, and then we might only listen to Larry Johnson. But we also heard from Lance Hurd, and we heard from Sat. So we'll kind of see how we are looking from a time perspective. But this is different because typically, y'all. We just kind of bring y'all those notes, but we're going to watch it live with you.
What do you think you are? Obviously, you got a change with replacing 4 starters. What do you think you're off to start wise?
Hey, and let me also pause this real quick. So all the clips that we're getting today is coming from VolQuest, okay? I just wanted to make sure that I shouted them out for this.
Right now.
I feel like we're off to a good start, man. It's different because you lost so many guys, but the good news is this group's all kind of the same age, same, level of learning. Like they've tied in together, like they're helping each other. And it's just like a fun bunch to be around. And we've been working a lot. Like they put a ton of time in, taking a ton of growth. There's been some MAs here and there, but for the most part, we've been pretty assignment sound. Guys have been playing hard. Like there's a ways to go, but I love what we're doing right now.
Wendell was telling us, he played like 345 last year, and he's like 320-ish this year. I mean, what's your overall thoughts of him, and just especially seeing maybe what you saw in film out of him at Arizona last year at that weight versus what you're seeing this spring at his current weight?
Yeah, he's a twitched up dude, man. So he moved great at 345, moving even better at 325. The thing that you saw on tape but didn't know till you got him, man, he has a real sixth sense for the game, like just really good at adjusting on the fly, understands. Like credit to him too, like probably the most meticulous note taker we have in the meeting. Like used his notebook as kind of an example when we did notebook checks and the way he approaches the game. It had a little issue trying to get into it health wise, and now he's rolling full speed and doing phenomenal.
What all goes into a notebook check?
Yeah, me having to sit there and go through it and make notes and give them a grade for how they're actually taking notes and ideas on how to organize it differently. And are you doing enough drawings? Are you doing enough the rules? Are you writing down the corrections you're supposed to be making every day? Those type of things.
Is this all from film or from just meetings with you?
Install, film, everything.
So you're kind of like a teacher going through and grading these notebooks.
Exactly. And it is it's a task, especially with 18 of them. There's a lot of notes, but it's been worth it. It's been kind of what we've done here, trying to push the envelope every single day.
Do you grade on a curve?
Grade on a curve? No, they won't let us have a curve come fall on Saturday. So
Have you always done that?
I've done it before in the past. Last few years you've been lucky because you've had a bunch of experienced guys that knew how to take notes and how to do it. Now you've got a bunch of young guys that, for the first time, they're learning the process of what it takes to be a pro.
What's the biggest difference?
All right, so I'm gonna pause right there just to kind of break this thing up because this is, as y'all can see, it's about like a 10-minute long video. He is gonna get to saying some different things. But Pete, what are your takeaways from just like the first little portion? Just kind of like some quick kind of like takeaways from what Coach E had to say.
Well, the first thing that popped out to me, man, I don't know, just reading his demeanor and everything, it seems like he's really kind of giddy about this offensive line group. He just seems kind of excited about them. He's excited about some new faces, some new pieces. I think he likes what he has in this group. But also, I also love what he said about kind of showing them how to take notes, because that was something for me that was never really like a natural thing, like taking notes. I kind of would try to like write down everything, whatever. But it seems like they're really coaching them on the notes to be able to get the most out of what's being taught and explained to them. He said having pictures, things like that, and also holds the players accountable, making sure that they are taking good notes throughout the course of the meetings and stuff like that. So I think that's a really big thing, and that's going to only help kind of improve their progression throughout the course of the spring. So really like what I'm hearing from him so far.
Yeah. So for me, just hearing how he talks about Moy being said he was twitchy. That's something that we talked about a lot. I think that's going to help Tennessee out tremendously with some of the different run schemes and different blocking schemes that Tennessee's probably going to be playing this year. But just as far as the taking notes, that's one thing I understand it. Taking notes isn't necessarily for everybody. And yeah, you have to take notes, but you don't want to take too many notes. So I'm just curious. Obviously, we probably won't ever know this, but what is he looking at? Is it about how much detail goes into those notes? Is it about that you're taking notes on all of those key points? Because see, for me, while you always have to take those notes, for me, whenever you can really teach these kids what the why is, they don't need the damn notes because you understand everything makes sense. Everything is common sense. So I'm just curious, is he one of those teachers? Like I can guarantee you, if you go to any of those linebackers, Coach Inns has taught them so well. You can go to any of them and they probably you could throw something off the wall like, hey, what happens if they come out in this sort of a set? They're going to know exactly what to do. Now, again, I'm not trying to knock Coach E for this. I think that it is positive, but that's one of the things that kind of came to my mind with it. Is just like, dude, like if you can teach, you don't, like those notes shouldn't have to mean everything, right? All right, so let's let him
What
finish.
you see in Lance from last season to even now?
Man, probably knowledge of the game. He's really bought into trying to understand everything around him, not just himself. He's asking about routes and why defense do this and why are we doing this.
And so here he was asked about Lance Hurd, and so he Coach E saying that Lance Hurd is looking at the total. He's looking at that whole like bigger picture. This is what I was talking about. The players need to know that type of stuff. They need to understand the why. And once they understand that, everything else should fall into place.
Holistically learn. Thing I've challenged him on, he still has to continue to work just run game footwork and what he's doing, and then in his protections, man, keeping him base, staying in a good body position, and fight every day like there's something breathing down your neck. But he's been awesome, been phenomenal.
Sam Pendleton was one you almost got first time around. To be able to get him on the bounce back, having played a little bit of college football, what is it you like about him?
And I feel like we hit on both transfers and the fact that they're just phenomenal human beings. Sam's helped one off the field kind of unite the room. He does a great job of trying to get guys to go eat dinner outside the facility, go play golf outside the facility, like do things together. And then he's highly, highly intelligent, playing guard center. There's been some MAs just because those are the two toughest positions when you transfer in, and he knows it. We've talked about it, but man, he grinds at it every single day, has a great attitude, has probably been just integrated into the room so fast.
When you got the practice field this spring and you looked around, there was no Cooper, there's no Spraggins. I mean, how odd was that? Because this is year 5, and you didn't hear every step of the way.
It was crazy. Probably more surrealistic when you had that first meeting and you're like looking at the guys in the room, like, man, this is different. But it's like miss them, man, loved having them. But now it's like you got to go and want the best for them. You got to see, like yesterday, I think Rome, Coop, Dane, and Dre were working out, and I got to see them as like long lost buddies you hadn't seen in a long time, man. We're like just freaking schoolgirls over there chatting. But we're real jealous of this unit that we have.
Picking off of that, what do you like about the center competition right now?
The fact that it is a competition. With Coop, you would kind of fake like you gotta go, but like you knew Coop was going to be it. And Sat, yeah, for sure, gets the start of the spring piece of it. But you got Sam pushing on him, you got Max pushing on him, Nick Moore's come along. Like he's not at that level yet, but there's competition there, and man, anytime there's competition, it helps you get better.
How's David coming along first spring?
Good.
What are you pushing him in right now as you get through the middle part of spring?
Early on, was challenging him. Man, you want to play early, you have to learn everything, and like trying to push the envelope mentally. I think he's gotten a ton better there. He's one of the ones that trying to help him learn how to be a pro as far as the note-taking piece of it. He is freaky athletic, freaky talented, man. He flashes as much as anybody. And like the amount of times that he's able to go play full speed as he knows exactly what he's doing is way more now than it was at the very beginning. You just got to keep building on that to where, man, something changes and he doesn't, have to think. He can just react and go play. But he's again, phenomenal kid, is bought in every single day, works and grinds his butt off, comes over, meets extra. Like, he's done a great job.
You mentioned Saturday.
All right, so we're gonna pause it there. P, what's some of your takeaways there? Talking about the centers, talking about David Sanders.
Yeah, definitely. Excuse me. As far as center competition goes, I mean, pretty much what we've been saying, what we've seen from practice, as far as it being, Satterwhite. Talk about him. I don't know if he said it yet. I'm sure he did. I didn't really catch it this time, but being like 308, 310. I mean, that's a really good size for him, and he looks the part. I mean, he looks like a guy that's ready to go out there and play this year and contribute. And then talk about Pendleton, like we kind of hinted at, probably is your number 2 option at center. And then Max Anderson being that kind of third option. And something about Elarbee, I think you can, once you kind of get familiar with him and kind of how he does interviews, like you can really get a lot from what he says, because he's pretty straightforward if you know what you're looking for. And then you talk about Nick Moore, you know what I mean? And you talk about Nick Moore, and you can tell by the way he said whatever he said, that he's not quite there. And then he ended up actually saying that he's not quite there yet. And you can tell from watching Nick Moore that he's not quite there, but he's a guy that, I mean, really like what we've seen from him as well. So, love what I'm hearing about the center competition. It seems like it's Sat's job. Pendleton's your number 2 guy, and then Max Anderson's pushing as well. And then I mean, really, you can tell he's excited about David Sanders as well. Like, very athletic guy, freaky athletic, very coachable kid, getting extra work, things like that. So, I think everything is trending towards him being ready to help us out this fall. Will he be the starter? We don't know. I think they're going to ask him about Larry Johnson here in just a little bit. But we'll see, man. But so far, everything sounds good about those young guys.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let me get to the chat right here from C Hood 22. Thank you for joining us, and y'all are more than welcome to join into the chat, join into the conversation as well. And saying that they are a former teacher and coach, and they say that that note taking can speed up learning new concepts because it brings in multiple. So basically, what he's saying here is that if you take notes along with like reading and things like that, or am I reading that right, P? Or am I reading that? So basically, they're saying that taking notes is good for learning because you have to read it, you have to write it, you have to listen and all that. Yeah, listen, I agree with that. I'm not saying anything wrong with taking notes. Listen, thank you so much for that as well. But yeah, I'm not saying that I'm against taking notes. You have to take notes, like that. There's no question. I mean, you absolutely have to. But my whole thing is about him going in and seeing how they are taking the notes. That's all that I was saying. What is he looking for? Does he want for them to just write down a whole bunch of stuff? Because that doesn't work either. If you write down every single thing that that the coach or that the teacher says, at least that didn't work for me. Everyone's different. But for me, I couldn't write all that stuff down because I'm going to write it down and I hear you enough to be able to write it, but I don't retain any of that. See what I'm saying? My mind, I have to have something inside of my mind that ties everything into one piece so that I can get it. Like, that's how I grasp things. But again, everyone's different, and I'm not knocking them for the whole note taking thing. I'm just
I think that's what he's looking at. Was what I would assume is he's looking at how, like you said, how are they taking notes and helping them, like, not like you said, you don't want to write down everything he says. How are you taking notes? Because that's something I actually learned kind of later in my professional work career. Because I was a guy, I didn't really like taking notes because I can't listen when I'm taking notes, so I would just try to memorize everything. But then when you're at home trying to go over things by yourself, at night, whatever. Sometimes it's great to have those notes you can refer back to if you kind of get lost on something. Let me see, what's my note on that? And you can look on it. So, I'm sure that he's helping them just be more concise and detailed with their notes.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean that sounds good to me. That definitely sounds. And see, really, I think that my overall takeaway from that, really, now that I think about it, is that because his room is so small, just kind of taking what he said into context, because that room is so young. He needs for them to understand what it takes to play on this level. So maybe that's what he's saying. All right, well, let's let Coach E finish up.
Why? What's I guess where's he come since last year, and what's kind of the next step that he needs to take to win that job?
I think he's doing one, trying to be a leader. We've divided up like responsibilities in the room. He's got making sure everybody has their goals set and kind of put that on him. And every time they don't, he has a deal for it. And he's done a good job leadership wise. Has been really solid mentally. It actually been our best center snap until today. You got to get that right. But you know, he's gained the weight. He's 308, 310 pushing. So he's doing everything that he needs to.
Larry's kind of a forgotten guy, I think, by a lot of people, because you got a 5-star and David, and you got Lance Hurd. What do you think Larry is? Can he play both sides? How do you see him factoring in?
Yeah, you know, especially in the last year, I thought he had come an unbelievable long way. And being honest with him through it, like, man, I was expecting him to just like jump out and have an unbelievable spring. He's had a very solid one. I'm like, man, Trey, you've got the capability of even taking another step. And I think he understands, he agrees. We've been trying to be super honest in the O-line room. He's got that ability, man. As far as flipping, I feel like we can potentially do some of that. I just want him to be comfortable because he played majority left last year. Now he's playing right. Again, I can't speak for him and the room, the buy-in and what the work is, but he's done a good job.
How do you balance the room? You got a core group of guys from last year's class, the Ginther, Jesse Perry, those guys you really like. When you bring in 2 transfers, how do you balance that, making sure they don't get discouraged? Because I'm sure they thought when the season ended, okay, it's my go time, and all of a sudden here come these 2 transfers in, you know, to keep them engaged to where they don't want to knee jerk after spring and want to go forward.
Yeah, I think honesty. And after the season, we had exit meetings, was brutally honest with them about where they stood and the fact that, man, we needed help depth-wise inside, that we were going to bring guys in. The first meeting that we had in the room, went through every single person, told them where I thought they were, who I thought they were as a player, what they needed to improve on, where they were on the depth chart. After practice 5, we did the same thing, like communicating to them, this is where you're at. And if you don't like where you're at, be a man, fix it, and go get the position. And at the end of the day, that's your responsibility. And they've embraced that. They've enjoyed that piece of it.
What was your exit meeting with, how was your exit meeting with Lance Hurd? Just how did you grade him out, and how far did you want him to come?
Yeah. Again, it was really honest. Like, man, it hurt you missing fall camp. You know, you had the ankle and did a phenomenal job battling through it, but that didn't help you. We got to get better in the areas I listed in spring, with the protection and staying in a good base and the run game footwork and learning the game. And he was not only agreeing, but like wanting help and how to do it, when can you do extra work. He wants to be elite, and he's done everything in his power to be a leader and be elite. You just got to keep pushing, man. So I guess just tell him the truth.
All right, so we will be talking about, or we're gonna be listening to Larry Johnson next, okay? And then Larry Johnson's gonna be that's the last one that we're gonna listen to. But P, I do want to kind of go back and just recap off of the last 2 things that Coach E said. Number 1 for me, he talks about Lance Hurd. So I'm gonna say this, maybe number 1. I don't know. I mean, he is being very straightforward. I don't think that I'm happy that he didn't give out his actual grade that he told that he told to the players. You don't want to do that. But I like the fact that he does seem like he's being blunt with these guys. Sounds like they're kind of buying into that. Sounds like sounds like Lance wants to get better. He's hungry for that type of feedback. So as long as he's getting it, then we think that he should be great. The other part of it is with Larry Johnson. He was like, listen, I thought that Larry Johnson was going to be phenomenal in the spring. Now, maybe I heard this wrong, but it sounded like he was saying, I thought he was going to be phenomenal in the spring. And he said his spring has been very solid, but there's another step that he can take. So maybe Larry Johnson's playing well, but not even up to necessarily where Coach E thought that he could be. But what did you kind of take away from what he said?
Yeah, I kind of got that same thing about Larry Johnson. Maybe he's not quite meeting his expectation for him for this spring, but there's still another gear, and I like that he's willing to push him to get that. He sees the potential in him as well, and that he's going to try to hold him to that standard. So hopefully they can get that out of him, because I mean I think we both agree. I think he's a first round talent in terms of his. I mean just look at him right there. I mean look at his body. I mean athletic. I mean the whole deal. I mean look at his freaking hands.
Yeah,
look at his freaking hands. You kidding me? So, this is a guy, man, looks the part. So can we get him to that level? Because like you said, he's a first round talent. And, that just because he's not living up to expectation doesn't mean he's not still a good player. I mean, he's a first round talent. Maybe he's performing like a fifth round guy right now, which is still, I mean, that's still really good. But, give him that first round element. I also like the piece said about Satterwhite kind of holding the guys accountable. And having a little deal for them for not hitting their goals each day in practice, whatever. I like that he's kind of that leader in the room, so I feel really good about him, and just feel good about this group overall, man. So and I think Elarbee really likes this group as well. So I mean, it's a talented group,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that those are excellent points. All right, so let's listen to Larry Johnson.
Larry, where are you? If you compare yourself to a year ago, where do you think you've developed the most?
I feel like as an offensive lineman, probably like every aspect. I say from like first day I stepped on campus, there was always at least one small detail that I wanted to improve, day by day. And I always, proceeded every day with the mindset of don't make the same mistake twice. And I was always kind of hard on myself because it was something that I just always wanted to accomplish. So,
have you dropped some weight since the fall? Where are you at right now?
Yeah, I definitely put on a lot of lean muscle and drop some more fat percentage. As everybody probably knows, when I first got here from my junior college, I was like 380, and then got down next spring to like 340, 345 in that area. And I just been kind of putting on lean muscle and dropping fat percentage, and it's kind of where I'm at right now.
You're still around that weight?
Yeah.
Wait a second, hold on now. Because 6'7" 345 is what I just heard. And he said he's leaner, he's meaner, he's faster. He said he's working on every little detail that he possibly can. He's hard on himself. He wants to be great. P. What I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
My goodness. How do we keep him off the field, P?
It's gonna be tough. I mean, it's up to him. If he's kept off the field, it's up to him, because I mean and that's what Elarbee was kind of getting at. Like, he expected him to just be this, number one overall offensive lineman taken. He hasn't quite lived up to that. And you look at him, you see the potential just from looking at him. You can see the potential. Yeah. I mean, look at this guy. You talk about 6'7", 340. Look how lean he is. I mean,
yeah, that's crazy.
So I mean
freaking arms are daggum jacked. You can see his shoulders kind of poking out some too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The delts there. Got a nice little man. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So let's just finish this up.
In the Oklahoma game last year, I think Lance didn't play, and then I think John got banged up. You got thrown in. What was that experience like? Did that help you sort of kind of show yourself that you could play at this level and play well?
Yeah, I feel like it was more of. I mean, it wasn't a surprise to me. I kind of expected to do all of my assignments and stuff. It just starts in practice. Just how you prep in practice. Every detail, every play, every rep. And, I mean, it just translates to the game. They don't coach us anything that we wouldn't do in the game. So, I mean, I wasn't too excited. I wasn't nervous. I just went out there and just took every play by play, every single play.
How different is left tackle to right tackle and learning those two?
I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but I say for me, the expectation. I mean, at either tackles, you're on the edge, so they're expecting you to hold down the edge. Have the quarterbacks, perimeter protected. I say with me playing both, it really doesn't differ.
We talked to a lot of players that talk about having to put on a bunch of weight, having to eat all the time. What's the inverse of that process where you're trying to lose a lot of weight? What was that like for you going back right here?
Simple, just calorie deficit. You just have to burn more than what you're eating. So for me, I hold myself to a strict diet. I might eat something real good throughout, like breakfast, because that kind of what sets off the day. And I just kind of even it out the rest of the day while I'm working out and stuff like that. But it really depends. If I'm practicing, we burn more calories, so I watch what I eat. And then if we just working out, then I kind of change up what I eat based on what we're doing. So
You feel like
Was there a food that you did like before that process that you can't go without now?
that I did like or didn't like.
Like you didn't like or didn't eat very much that you now.
I say it was just more of something that I didn't really have before. Kind of like me just trying something new. I wouldn't say I didn't like it or was anything that I didn't like. It was more of just me trying something new.
Are you where you're at now? Is that kind of like you feel like your ideal weight, or are you still trying to get down a little bit more? Or
I kind of like to play with it. I might come to practice at a certain weight this week, and then like by the end of the week, I might be at a different weight, and I might compare the two, see which one I feel better at. Or if I feel better at, that's where I try to maintain it.
And how much different do you feel, having leaned up and kind of reshaped things this spring? Is a big difference on the field?
Yeah, I feel a lot stronger, a lot more explosive than when I first got here. I mean, like what Lance was saying, you wouldn't expect nobody this big to, move as well. But I mean, that's kind of the things that I always work on when it comes to, what I eat, because it carries on to how you move. Like your diet, it pours into anything that you want to do on the field. So I kind of take that with pride and just run along with it.
What's the biggest difference you've seen in Lance from his first season to now?
The understanding of the offense. That's the number one biggest thing. Everything he got, he's gifted. Like he's real gifted. Like he already had that ability. For him, it was just he just had to understand the offense a little more because he was new to the system. But I say he knows it's stone cold. He asks a lot of questions in the meeting room and stuff like that. So his understanding of the game overall.
We talked to Coach Elarbee about the note taking and the notebooks. How would you rate yourself in that department?
I mean, I like to get all the small details because something can slip my mind because he's so smart. So his coaching style is, he uses intelligent words and stuff. So I try to get all the small things down whenever he's coaching. So.
All right, so we're gonna pause it there because I thought that this was only going to be about 3 minutes, but it's like we got about like a minute left. But I do want to kind of talk about that last part right there. He talks about he has to take a whole lot of notes because of the way the coach teaches. I think that's kind of where I felt like things were at because he's going in to look at how people are taking notes. And I hate to keep on bringing this up, but there is something to be said about the way that our coaches are teaching. You have to find a way to get this information to the kids where it's not overly complicated. It should be very simple. Football is a simple game, right? So you have to make it make sense. But also, P, do you have any thoughts from this? Because I don't want to go too deep with my personal thoughts. But what do you think about just some of the few things that Larry Johnson just said?
Yeah, I mean, I like his whole approach to everything. How he's really in tune with his body and can feel like he can kind of manipulate it however he wants. Can see how he feels at a certain weight. Oh, I don't like this. Let me lose a few more. Or, oh, I don't like this. Let me gain, another pound or two. I mean, I think he looks great right now. It's tough for me to imagine him being in any better physical shape than what he is right here, right now. But I mean, heck, the fact that he can continue to tweak it, I love that about him. I think he's ready for to have a big year. And the last part about the notes, I agree, man. Like as a coach, was it Albert Einstein that said that like a true genius can make hard to understand concepts, complicated things simple. You know what I mean? Anybody can freaking I'm not anybody, but anybody can pretty much talk about something that's complicated and make it sound complicated. But can you dumb it down and simplify it, make it easy to understand? I think that's a sign of a truly good coach. We were watching Hugh Freeze the other day. He can just explain it in a way that's very simple and easy to understand. You know what I mean? So you would love for all your coaches to be that way. We're not in the room, but just based on what Larry Johnson said, it seems like maybe Elarbee could try to simplify things a little bit more for these guys, make it easier for them to understand.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm on the same page with you, P. I love his entire mindset with everything that they just asked him. This is challenging stuff to come in at 380 pounds and you drop 40 pounds. You know what I'm saying? That's difficult. You know, he's asked about playing left tackle and then playing right. It's just like everything that they're asking him. It's stuff that everyone else will say, "Oh, this is really difficult for him." It's like, you know, I basically like this is something that I had to do, so I just did it. It just is what it is. Like
Yeah.
things are only as complicated as you make them. And I love his mind. I love what I'm hearing and seeing from him, Pete. So you know, we will see. I want to let this finish, but we'll see what I think that he's in for a very big 2025 season.
Yeah, I say my note taking is real detailed.
When he kind of introduced this to you, were you kind of like, well, why are we doing this? What's the point? Or you maybe kind of expected to be kind of part of playing it at this level?
I kind of embraced it because I was always a note taker. Whenever I can write something down, it helps me remember it better. So if anything, when I first got introduced to it, it kind of made me feel better because that's the best way I can remember something.
How's that kind of competition going with you and David, and how are you kind of approaching that with 4 new starters this year?
I mean, I just come out every day prepared and just, you know, do what I got to do. Just, you know, get better at what I can do, get better at what I need to get better at, and just take it day by day.
Is scrimmage a big checkpoint for you Monday to know you got to take kind of put some things on film and improve yourself in a game setting like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like it's not, you know, I don't feel pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I just play ball. I've been playing this since I was younger, so I just go out there and just play ball.
All right, y'all. So we're not going to listen to Lance Hurd, all right, just unless y'all absolutely want to. But I thought that was some really good stuff, P. I'm not sure what you thought about it, but yeah, I'm excited about what Larry Johnson's going to do. He just I was literally listening to that one with y'all live. That was my first time hearing it. But yeah, you could just tell he's like, hey, look, I'm just going to do whatever I have to do. I'm not too worried. Just that type of mindset. That's going to be big. So I'm at this point, we have to see what happens in this scrimmage coming up Monday. But for me, just kind of what I've seen and from what I just heard, him being a vet, I think that I might rather him be the one that starts for us. Maybe. But you know,
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of where I've been. You know, I mean, I feel really comfortable with him being the guy. I don't know what it is. Like he's just, you know, it's not a knock on David Sanders or, you know, even a guy like Bennett Warren, who, I mean, we figure Bennett Warren's left, you know, the backup left tackle right now, but it's not a knock on those guys. I just feel that highly about Larry Johnson. You know, I feel really good about him, man. He's carrying himself the right way. He's approaching it the right way. So like I agree with you, man. I think he's due for a big season in 2025.
Yep. All right. So let's go ahead and start to get into some of the notes. We're going to start off right here with the quarterbacks. All right. So you already know the quarterbacks that we have inside of this room. Actually, let me get to this one right here from my dog, D. Taylor, asking, do we think Sanders would be okay sitting out a year if Larry Johnson is the guy this year? I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for David Sanders. I think that he would be fine. Now, I'm not saying I feel like they could both play probably, but I'm just, and obviously we're not there, but at this point, I probably feel more comfortable with David Sanders. Or, I'm sorry, with Larry Johnson. So I don't know. You also have to worry about what the heck's going to happen if David Sanders starts. And then we end up losing Larry Johnson. I mean, that would be a total waste. But, you know, because we can – I think that David Sanders would probably be more okay with not starting than I think that David Sanders would be more okay with not starting than Larry Johnson. But, P, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also think it'll be similar to last year where we saw Dane Davis rotate in with Campbell. Like, I think we'll see. But I do think David Sanders, he'll get some quality, meaningful reps as a true freshman. So I think he'll be fine either way.
Okay, cool. All right. So, so quarterbacks, I have a couple of notes here. It's not real notes. But it sounds like Nico was still on point. Sounds like Merck had a pretty solid day. Sounds like GMAC had a pretty solid day. I saw them doing that same drill that we saw on Thursday, where there's like running to the left, throwing like to the right, and same thing, you know, running to the right, throwing back to the left. So, you know, they're working on all those things. You know, they're still doing a lot of mesh things with the, you know, like options, you know, because obviously Tennessee does a lot of mesh inside of our offense. I think we'll have more of that coming up this year. But P, what did you think just in watching the quarterbacks throwing the football around today and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, didn't have much takeaway. I mean, everybody still looks good. Nico looks great out there. I see like when they're doing those routes on there, at least from what we're able to see, they're doing a lot of little quick routes, the kind of 3-step things. So I think that's good to see, and they're getting the ball out of their hand quick. So, just kind of giving you a little glimpse of maybe what we could expect from this offense. So I like what I'm seeing so far. Nico looks great, by the way.
Yeah, Nico looks just terrific. And also, I'll say this for the entire offense. Sounds like we got some more notes on Tennessee was running some tighter sets. Sounds like we were running a bunch to the field in a tight set. I love to hear that. It sounds like there was a whole lot of, like pick routes and rub routes. Rub routes is what we call it when we're on offense, but that's beautiful. That's what Tennessee's got to get back to. We did so much of that in 2022. People think that, oh my gosh, Tennessee's tempo killed folks. And, the players were just way better. This team on paper is light years better. Like, you cannot point to one position from the 2022 team that is probably even close to what Tennessee has this year. Pete?
Yeah, I mean, I would say,
yeah,
you can maybe make an argument for the receivers. I mean, who we have, Hyatt, Tillman. Was Veathers Jones on that team too? I mean, we had some good receivers.
In 22.
Yeah, he was gone?
Yeah, he was gone.
Okay, but it was some decent receivers. So
we had Hyatt and we had Cedric Tillman. We had Brew too. Yeah, so
yeah. I mean, I think from a ceiling perspective, this ceiling of these guys is higher, but they're experienced, so we'll see how they develop.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about the next one right here. All right, so running backs, didn't hear anything at all about the running backs except they were working on pass pro, which is good. They were doing a whole lot of that. I saw them working in some special teams drills. We're really hammering special teams home right now, and obviously it's something that you have to work on. I just kind of wonder, are we spending too much time on that, Pete? Now, I mean, we don't get to see like nothing but like 20 minutes worth of practice, right? So like the clips that we get is from like 15 to 20 minutes worth of practice. So it's cool to kind of start off that way, but it's just, to me, it's different because last season I didn't see us doing this much special team stuff, like having the whole team doing special team circuits. But either way, it was just that it was the mesh with the with the quarterbacks. So it wasn't a whole lot there, but do you have any thoughts that you want to kind of add to this with the running backs, Pete?
Well, I mean, I'll just say, as far as special teams, I know, when I was at Vandy, I mean, a lot of coaches take special teams like very seriously, and I think we started every single practice off working on special teams. So I mean, it's something that I think that's one of the maxims, man. Like that's kind of where the what they say, kicking game, that's where the breaks are made, or whatever. Like, I mean, that's true, man. So these guys are going to hammer it home. So I actually like to see that, and a lot of these younger guys can make a name for themselves. We saw James Pierce, his true freshman year, whatever. He made a real name for himself on special teams. So. I absolutely love that they're hammering that stuff home every single day.
Yeah. You know what? Those are excellent points. Now let's go to the wide receivers, and we can bring this thing back up. So as far as the wide receivers, man, so that right there tells Travis Smith has been ridiculous. I did see Brazel dropping the daggum pass today. It was an easy one too, and actually, so look here. This is it. So look, if you look in the background, you can see Nico coaching them up. Right, Nico's over here, daggum, coaching him up about it. I'll pause it and I'll show you where it's at so everyone can see it. So, boom, right here, you can see Nico, number 8, talking to number 17, Brazel. He's coaching him up, and he's probably saying, "Look, stop dropping the damn football, man. Like, just catch the damn ball. It's not that hard." But nah, I mean, seriously though, he's gonna have to be a lot more consistent than this. It's too many times from all the clips that we've watched. We don't get to see the entire practice, but from all the clips that we have watched, he's dropped the football more than anybody else. Maybe more than anybody did all the rest of the team that I've seen combined. So that's got to get fixed. That is a major problem.
For sure. I mean, look, listen, like I don't like to be a Debbie Downer or whatever, but I mean, heck, I'm gonna go and say it. I have been very unimpressed with what I've seen from Brazel. I mean, and I don't want to just bash the guy, but just from what we're seeing, looks kind of lazy out there, catching the ball, barely even turns upfield. A beautiful pass from Nico. He tries to catch it with his body, bounces off his shoulder pads. Like, I mean, listen, I'm to the point, and again, we don't see all practice, but I'm almost to the point where I'd rather almost see Mike Matthews and Travis Smith as your two outside guys. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. we'll see. Maybe I'm dead wrong, but I just have not really liked what I've seen from Brazel so far this spring.
Yeah, and you know, we keep on saying this, and obviously it is very early. So I mean, we're just saying that at this point, Brazel has to step up. I mean, he absolutely has got to get better, but he has plenty of time to, you know, work himself back into being a lot more consistent. But we also heard that that Ra Jackson made a really nice catch, another really nice catch today. So yeah, and I think that I got this from 24/7 Sports. And I think that they listed him, or they said he was like 6'4". Now he's listed at 6'2", but he does look pretty tall. So I was just throwing it out there. Did he grow 2 inches since spring camp started? It's very possible, guys. Like I'm telling you, it is very possible that happened. So you know that would put him, I think, in a great spot either way. But yeah, we've got some young dogs. That's the one good thing. So these veterans definitely have to step up. But let me try to double check on my notes, Pete. Make sure I'm not missing nothing with these wide receivers. Oh, so they also talked about Mike flashing. You know, yeah, he flashed. You know, just watching these clips looked really good to me personally. I think that Braylon Staley's still looking really good, looking really fluid, really smooth. Still kind of feel like Tennessee might go to the portal to try to get another wide receiver. Not quite sure what that's going to look like. Do you want to vet there, P? Or, you know, do you want to try to go get like a young guy? I mean, like, what do you want to do there?
I mean, I don't know. I'll say this: a guy that flashed me my first time seeing him was that little number 85, Miller.
Oh yeah, 85 looks good.
He looks like your prototypical kind of Wes Welker type guy that can, you know, kind of be a nightmare to try to cover in space. So is he a guy that gives you some more depth there? And then is it Snead, or I know we got like a walk-on receiver.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of his name.
Dayton Snead.
Yeah, Snead. Yeah, I mean, which I think he played a little bit in one of the games last year. Like he's another guy that I think is another option. So I don't know. We'll see how the staff feels. But I don't think you necessarily have to go. I think some of those walk-ons, was it not Fred Weary, but whatever 83's name is, Weary.
Oh yeah, Weary.
Yeah, Weary. I mean, he's another guy.
I haven't even seen him yet.
Yeah, I think I've seen him a time or two out there. I think, but
okay.
I mean, so we got guys that are walk-ons. I think could actually give us some valuable time. You know, some valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm trusting these. I mean,
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, listen. I'm not. I think that they're really good. You know, especially Dayton Snead, because we saw him. I feel like that was a couple of years ago. He had a really nice game versus somebody. So I mean, look, like they can get it done. I think that a lot of it is more about the type of a system that you're running. It could make it easier for these guys to get wide open, right? But there is something to be said about just like the sheer talent level, right? Because I mean, this is SEC. I mean, shoot, think about Bama. Who else? I think LSU. Like everybody now is getting these big 6'3", 6'4" cornerbacks. You need to have some guys that can move so that you can beat them, because you got to get a lot of separation on guys that are that long. So, you know, I'm not saying that these guys can't do it, but I'm not with you on that. I would like to see us go out and add one more, you know, like scholarship type of body to that wide receiver room. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Let's go on to the next one. So tight ends, obviously, with Miles Kitselman, again, not quite sure when he's going to be back. I think that Brame kind of flashed today, P. You know, I think that he's looking good. You know, he's a big 6 foot, and he's listed at 6'4" here. I don't know that that's right. I don't know if that was an error on my behalf or if that was wrong from wherever I got it from. But he's like 6'6". You know, he's like 6'5", 6'6". He's a tall guy. He's got pretty good size. I think that he can do some nice things for us. Obviously, Ethan Davis, you can see him here, standing bounds, getting up the field, looks good. But P, what do you think about this room?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same as you. Brame looked good out there. He looks the part. It looks bigger than 230 as well. I mean, looks like he's you know, probably about 240, 245. But you know, there's one Brazel drop right in the freaking chest. But you know, I mean, absolutely love the tight end room. You know, excited, man. Like I said, excited. I mean, I don't want to say excited. I hate that Kitzman's out, but I am excited to see these other guys get a chance, because I mean, they're going to probably end up starting off the season as the guys. So excited to see what they can do, and they'll definitely grow from that experience. So excited about that for them.
Yeah. You know, we're adding a whole bunch of depth. There's no question about that. Let's get to the next one. So the offensive tackles, I got a couple notes here for the entire offensive line, just how we're kind of mixing and matching some of these things. So let me pull this. Let me get back to my notes. All right. So it's going to be hard for me to read. All right. So as far as the groups, what they were doing is the left tackle and the left guard were working on some combo blocks and things like that. Then we had the center, right guard, and right tackle. They were all working on picking up different stunts and twists and games and all of that. So as far as the left side, we had Lance Hurd running with Sham Umarov. And then the second group was Bennett Warren at tackle, okay, working with Wendell Moy at guard. The third group was Trevor Duncan at tackle, working with Gage Ginther at guard. And hold on one second, let me make sure that I'm gonna pull this stuff back up so that y'all can see that while we're talking. All right, so let me get back into it. All right, so on the right side, starting off at center, the starting group was William Satterwhite. Right guard was Jesse Perry. Right tackle was Larry Johnson. Second group, center was Max Anderson. Right guard was Sam Pendleton. Right tackle was Brian Grant. Third group, center was Nick Moore. Right guard was Aiden Bussell. Right tackle was David Sanders. So that's the bulk of the notes. I mean, that's all the notes that I got from our offensive line as a whole. But Pete, what did you think just in kind of watching these guys moving around out there? Because we got a lot of clips of them.
Yeah, absolutely love the way that group looks. I mean, they look good moving that sled. As far as the kind of the depth chart that we're seeing right now, I mean, wouldn't make too much of it. It's spring. I mean, I would expect Pendleton to probably end up being the guy.
For sure. Moy too.
Yeah, Moy's going to end up being a guy, and like I said, we'll still see about David Sanders and Larry Johnson at that right tackle spot. But absolutely love this group, man. It's a good looking group. I mean, and when you just look at them standing back there, the guys in the background, I mean, what a good looking group of guys back there. So, I mean, hey, Elarbee, he has every reason to be excited about this group, this most talented group I think he's had since he's been here by far.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let me get on to the next one. All right, so centers, we kind of already talked about that. Feel like Sat's going to get the start there. It is interesting too, and I should probably try to add Gus to this list, number 69, because I think that he looked good. You could tell whenever he's going through, you know what I'm saying, like going through his drills, he's giving like a little, I don't know what that was, like a jab step. I don't know why you would ever have to do that, but I think that it looked good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it looked good. All right, so safeties, no real notes here. Outside of what we saw, right? So we see him, saw them working inside of that red area. Looked like I think Caleb Beasley, P. I think that he looks really good playing at safety. I think that his hips look very fluid. But what did you think? And I know that we didn't get to see a whole lot of the safeties, but what did you think about watching these guys go to work?
Yeah, I think turn time looks good out there. We can tell he's, experienced veteran. Understands what's going on out there. Jacoby Thomas, he looks the part out there as well. And I agree with you. I think Caleb Beasley looks, he looks pretty fluid out there, and I think safety is going to be a position that he'll be able to really excel back there in the deep end for sure.
Yeah. So watch this last his last turn, P, on this one here. This one right here. Watch this. Boom. I love how quick he snapped his hips there. Yeah. You can tell that he's been working. You can tell that he's really, really been working. So I'm watching him closely. He might have a shot. He just might have a shot. But let's see who else do we have in here. I know that we got to get to. And okay, so Star still. I mean, Boo. I feel like Beasley could also play some Star. What are you kind of thinking here?
Yeah, same. It's those main two, and I was surprised the other day we heard Willie Moe talking. He didn't mention Goree as or Ty as one of his star options, but I thought it was kind of interesting. But man, every time I see Marcus Goree out there, I mean, he really, I'm telling you, he's a guy. You know what I mean? I kind of have this thing going with John Slaughter. Marcus Goree is kind of getting into that same elk as a guy that you're going to hear me talk about pretty much every time we talk about the secondary. You're going to hear me mention this guy's name too. So really like what I'm saying from him.
So you know what? Maybe that's because they like Mark. Maybe that's because they like him better playing at corner, as opposed to star. Like maybe they're saying, hey, we got a few guys that we like. I mean, he might be one that they like at star too, but they really got to find another corner, right? Like, I mean, who else? I mean, we already know who the starting two is probably going to be at corner. At least to kind of start the season off. Right. But you got to find who's that third guy going to be. I think that maybe they're looking at Marcus to maybe do that. Okay. So, I mean, maybe that's what the case is there.
Hey, I think we need to add number 0 to his list too. He's looked pretty good out there. William Wright. Yeah. He's looked solid. So,
he has.
He might factor in.
Yeah. He's looked really, really good right here. Leo's So Caleb Herring, I don't think that he dressed out today. We might have spoke about that earlier today. So we didn't get to see them do anything today, but very much looking forward to. It's going to be interesting, P. How the hell are we going to scrimmage with only freaking? We got 2 Leos. I mean, I know that they're not going to get all of the reps. What are we going to do here? That'll be interesting. But do you have any thoughts on the Leo room?
I would assume that would move. I don't know. I assume a guy like Kellen Lindstrom would maybe get some reps here.
Okay.
Who else? I mean, any backers that move over here?
Do we have any that's because see, like it feels like all those freshmen are the ones that they're trying to cross train at Leo. And from what I've heard, both of the Jadens, they were planning on cross training them at Leo. And obviously Gas, like we already knew about Gas, but so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe you'll see some strong side guys like maybe Tyree West or somebody like that. Maybe get some reps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're going to do. But,
that'd be crazy to see him playing at Leo, boy.
I know, right? But I mean, either way, it's going to be good reps. It'll be good experience for whoever they put over there.
100%, and that's what practice is for. Speaking of Tyree, both of them. I think this room looks good. We didn't get to see them do anything today. Obviously, we're a lot more healthy here than with our Leo room. So looking forward to seeing what happens there because, P, I think that we're both on the exact same page. It's been tough for us to find our line beating the offensive line anywhere. Like you can't find any of those clips. So is it because we have so many guys that are banged up? Well, you look at the guys that are banged up; they're mostly young. Like most of the vets are here. So I'm curious to see how all those things play out. Did you have any thoughts on this room?
I mean, absolutely love his room, and I'm really high on Tyree West this year, man. I think he's due for a big year. But yeah, I agree with you, man.
Huge year is coming.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Just from clips we've seen, the O line is definitely getting the better of the D line so far this spring.
Yep. All right, let me get right here to my dog P, your dog too. G White, what's going on, bro? Saying GBO. And I think that we've got just a couple more right here to get to. So linebacker room, we kind of touched on this. I think that all these guys look good. Really not much more for me to say at this point. I just need for these guys to continue to look good and to stay healthy and all that good stuff. Pete, do you have any thoughts here?
No, just continue to, mention Jordan Burns. Don't forget about him. He's going to be a guy.
Yep, he most definitely is. We got a lot of guys inside of that room. Actually, you know what? I think that's it. So I didn't put the tackle room in here.
Yeah, didn't put D tackles.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
so that one. So that one's not in here, but we can still talk about it. But yeah, what are you thinking there, Pete?
D tackle. I mean, to me, that's the biggest question mark probably on the entire team for me is the D tackles. Especially when you get past Wendell Moy. I mean, not Moy. Jackson Moy and Bryson Eason, Hobbs. Really just those top three. I think you can even throw Nate Robinson kind of as a question. We feel good about him, but we haven't really seen him a lot. But once you get past those top three, what are those next 2 or 3 guys going to look like? So one can see them continue to develop. I think last year we saw it was the D line made the O line better with how deep they were. I think this year you'll see the O line. Hopefully we'll get the D line better and ready come this fall.
Yeah, man. We definitely got to find some serious depth. Oh, and you know what? Right here. This does have this has Campbell as still kind of like banged up just because that's from a different stream. But either way, Campbell is back. Okay, so he's back working. I think he's gonna have a good season. He's gonna have to step up for us in a major way. It sucks, obviously that we've got a couple of guys that are banged up, but it is getting those young guys plenty of reps, and that's gonna help us to build up that depth. What are you thinking here, Pete? Do you feel like we need to go to the transfer portal to maybe add another tackle body?
I wouldn't. I mean, I'm to the point, I'm ready to see, hey, throw a daggum Isaiah Campbell out there. Throw Ethan, throw those guys out there. Let them, trial by fire.
Listen. We also have House, who hasn't even come up yet.
I always forget about him, don't I? I mean, gosh, he's a guy coming here day one and have a chance to compete for something. So, I mean, what do you think he comes in weight wise? You think he comes in about 6'4"? What? About what?
3? I'm gonna call it about 315, maybe even 320. Yeah. I mean, maybe even 330.
So then there's your Elijah Simmons.
Zero tech. There's your 0 tech, 1 tech.
Now it's just, hey, let's get your strength numbers up, all that type of stuff. But I always get by him. So he's another piece. He'll factor in.
For sure. All right, y'all. Listen, thank y'all so much for joining us. We hope that y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Saturday. We have a lot of things to watch and all that today. So I might be coming back with maybe talking about the baseball game and maybe talking a little bit more about our well, obviously, we got the Lady Balls coming up and all that. So I might be back later on. But if not, then I will see y'all tomorrow. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.